The end came suddenly, even if we'd been picking up on subtle signs that something had shifted. Over the last year, Jim Irsay seemed like a different man. The last time the Colts' unconventional owner, Jim Irsay, addressed local media about the team's status was in July 2024. Sticking to his annual tradition, Irsay showed up to training camp in a suit and sunglasses, exuding an almost reckless optimism as he spoke to reporters from his golf cart. At that time, Irsay confidently stated, "Our goal is to win the division. I truly believe, for me, it's the best team we've assembled in quite a while." However, that familiar, relentless burst of positive energy was noticeably absent from Irsay's yearly address. While every new season typically re-energized him, he couldn't quite summon the same vigor, not due to any doubt in his team, but because of his physical condition. His voice no longer reached its usual booming levels under the hot training camp sun. During that interview, Irsay explained he was still recovering from left leg surgery, assuring everyone he'd soon return to his characteristic boisterous self. In the subsequent months, however, he largely retreated from the public eye, perhaps signaling what was to come. Jim Irsay passed away on Wednesday at the age of 65. But as he once expressed, the NFL is designed to continue moving forward, even without him. In July 2023, amidst a contract disagreement with his star running back, Jonathan Taylor, Irsay famously remarked, "If I die tonight, and Jonathan Taylor is out of the league, no one's gonna miss us. The league goes on, we know that, the National Football League rolls on. It doesn't matter who comes and who goes." Irsay was, of course, correct. As the NFL community grieves his passing, it's appropriate to look ahead to the future and the next phase for an Indianapolis Colts franchise now poised to enter a new era. The transition of leadership will begin with Jim Irsay's three daughters, Carlie Irsay-Gordon, Casey Foyt, and Kaylin Jackson, who have held co-owner titles since 2012, now expected to assume control of the franchise. Carlie Irsay-Gordon, as the eldest at 44, is anticipated to take on the majority of the football-related responsibilities. While her precise leadership approach for the franchise is yet to be fully revealed, she does possess relevant experience. Irsay-Gordon took on the role of the Colts' primary decision-maker after her father, who had been open about his struggles with drug and alcohol addiction, was arrested for driving while intoxicated in March 2014. She first stepped in when Irsay was in rehab and again when the NFL later suspended him for 6 games due to his misconduct. For several years now, Irsay-Gordon has been a constant presence in the Colts draft war room. On game days, she's frequently spotted on the sideline with a headset. She also played a significant role in the team's 2023 coaching search, which ultimately led to the hiring of Shane Steichen. Chris Ballard, the Colts general manager, who is now entering his 9th season with the franchise, holds her in high regard. In February 2019, for IndyStar, Ballard commented on Irsay-Gordon, saying, "She will ask 500 questions about why, and a lot of times, it'll halfway piss me off, but I'll go, and I'll start thinking, she's right. She asks the question from a different perspective and makes you think about why you do what you're doing." Pete Ward, Irsay's long-standing right-hand man and the team's chief operating officer, will maintain his position, continuing to oversee the non-football aspects of the organization. A major question now that Irsay is gone is how much Carlie Irsay-Gordon will involve herself in football operations. It was well known that when her father was healthy, he significantly influenced the team's players and coaches. Part of Irsay's enduring legacy includes his resolute choice of Peyton Manning over Ryan Leaf in 1998 and his decision to bring in coach Tony Dungy in 2002. Even in just the last 5 years, Irsay's impact on the team was evident. He was the one who encouraged Ballard to aggressively trade up for Jonathan Taylor, a player Ballard also highly desired, in the second round of the 2020 draft. Irsay spearheaded the Colts' effort to re-sign wide receiver T.Y. Hilton in 2021. He also demanded the Colts part ways with quarterback Carson Wentz after a frustrating 2021 season, insisted on benching former league MVP Matt Ryan for third-string QB Sam Ehlinger in 2022, pushed for the firing of coach Frank Reich, and the hiring of former Colts center and ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday as interim coach, despite Saturday's lack of prior college or professional coaching experience, and ultimately chose Anthony Richardson with the number 4 pick in the 2023 draft. Irsay was also the public face of the, at times, contentious contract negotiations with Taylor before the 2023 season. These are just some of the instances publicly known, and almost every time the Colts made a move, regardless of outside opinions, he'd publicly share his thoughts, sometimes even calling reporters himself to vent on the record. He once called my former colleague, Bob Kravitz, after hiring Saturday to refute suggestions that the Colts were tanking. "That's bulls, we don't tank in Indianapolis," he told Kravitz. That was Jim Irsay. Will Carlie Irsay-Gordon follow suit? Irsay's most recent and final public statement regarding the team, following a disappointing 8-9 finish in 2024, was a letter to fans in January, confirming that both coach Shane Steichen and general manager Chris Ballard would return for another season. Irsay was particularly fond of Ballard, even likening his GM to Michael Jordan amidst a disastrous 2022 campaign, despite Ballard's somewhat underwhelming resume. Through his first 8 seasons, Ballard has only 2 playoff appearances, 1 playoff victory, and 0 AFC South titles. Most owners would have moved on after nearly a decade of mediocrity, so it will be intriguing to see if Irsay-Gordon shares her father's same high regard for Ballard. Irsay's passing comes at a clear crossroads for the franchise. Indianapolis is a long way from the dominant team it was during the Peyton Manning era. Many observers believe the Colts still lack a true franchise quarterback as they head into the 2025 season, which will largely depend on the performance of either Anthony Richardson or former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. Both quarterbacks, currently vying for the starting job, are coming off dismal 2024 campaigns. Last year, Richardson threw 8 touchdowns against 12 interceptions and finished the season with a league-low 44.7% completion rate. Jones, meanwhile, had 8 touchdowns to 7 picks before being benched and subsequently released. The Colts signed Jones in free agency to challenge Richardson for the starting role, but the question remains: will either truly elevate the team? Indianapolis hasn't reached the playoffs since 2020, a drought that profoundly troubled Irsay, who was immensely proud of the Lombardi Trophy his team won after the 2006 season. He deeply felt the Colts' Super Bowl loss in 2009 and consistently spoke about returning to championship contention. Serendipitously, Irsay's final post on X was a congratulatory message to the Pacers as they prepared for the Eastern Conference Finals. Hours later, they mounted a dramatic Game 1 victory over the Knicks. Indiana is now just 3 wins away from reaching the NBA Finals for the first time since 2000, a significant turnaround from their 25-57 record and number 6 draft pick just 3 years prior. Irsay never lost hope that the Colts could achieve a similar resurgence. "Let's find a way back to our greatness," Irsay told his players in the locker room after the 2024 regular season finale. "That's what my goal is." Now, that goal falls to Irsay-Gordon, her sisters, and the rest of the organization. Can they help restore the Colts' former glory?